Now, with my videos and with my tweets and all my content, I really don't wish to cast the entire right or left side of the political spectrum under a single light. There's far more nuance in our cultures, in our world, in our populations. You can talk to 100 people in one group that may seem like they're under one header. They might be one, occupation. They might be one, they might be divided by immutable characteristics like their race or their sex or gender. And I don't like to put those people into a box, any people into a box whatsoever, using their group identity. I prefer to judge them by their character and their flaws and their actions and their words and how much they stick to objective reality and pursue truth and attempt not to introduce noise and negativity into dialogue. So I don't wish to cast the entire right or left under a single light. But with that, I'm going to say something that could be a bit of a stereotype for some. And that is, my experience is that the American left projects more than the American right. Now, I think that type of mind can benefit an artist, but discussing real-world matters is more of a minefield. So the ability to create a world in your head, a creative type ability, to be able to project something complex and have a very detailed, nuanced outlook on the world is a beautiful virtue. Okay, it's a good thing. And the ability to put it on paper as an artist, or to put it on stage or screen, and really show the world what your vision is of reality and of different situations. That ability is something that I think all of us creative types can really aspire to. It's hard to create. Okay, it's not easy for a lot of people. It takes a number of factors, a lot of inspiration, and so this ability to develop a worldview and to learn how to communicate that to the outside world is something pretty virtuous. But I do think that when you're discussing real world matters that can't be fit into a simple narrative, that may involve some no-win situations, it's here that putting things into a narrative and casting heroes and villains, well, that can definitely introduce some noise to the dialogue. And it's a difficult situation when you already have it in your mind. And again, the right does this too, but I'm seeing it more on the left. Just this sort of projection. And you see it when people strawman you, when they strawman you on social media or elsewhere, and they sort of present your opinion for you. That's a high form of projection. And I do feel like there is slightly more of a right-think attitude on the left. You might call it some kind of authoritarian view of how discussions should take place, whereas it seems that the right is more about free speech, and even if it's slightly offensive, we're not going to work as hard to police those other people with our authority, take authority against others who want to speak, may it be in a controversial manner, and of course that is subjective. Hate speech is subjective. But as subjective as it is, the only way to defeat it, of course, is more speech, So for more speech, you need free speech. And I do believe that for the most part, and again, I don't want to stereotype too hard, but I do think that the left has more of a tendency to be disciples of the modern religion known as censorship. So, and it's all well-intentioned. There's a moral core and a desire for objective truth, which is virtuous. These are good things, and the intentions are, of course, good. But as with all good intentions, we know where that road leads, and it can lead to a place called hell. And in the case of censorship, going too far and suppressing these voices who then congregate elsewhere, and they centralize, they fortify the hatred that they were banned for in the first place, and then you're in what I call, again, one of those no-win scenarios. And some of those scenarios include the tragedies that we've been seeing lately, the latest being Poway, near, I believe, San Diego in California. This was a hate crime, and I want to give my deepest condolences to anybody that was harmed. I know that there were 4 people shot, 1 killed, and that's an absolute disgrace and a travesty. And, you know, the community that person was a part of, I'm not talking about 8chan, by the way. The shooter was a member of 8chan. That 8chan is a very diverse community of people with many, it's much like Reddit. You have many, many subreddits on Reddit, and you have many, many, many forums on 8chan. But in this particular subcategory of the website, this small section of the website, there were people there that either ironically or otherwise encouraged the killer to take action. And that is completely unacceptable. And it's through censorship that you can create that kind of echo chamber. And once their world has been expanded from, being this big, they're able to bank, they're able to talk and be platformed here. Once you squeeze it down to this tiny little echo chamber, and they feel a sense of oppression, well, who knows what could happen? They could explode. If the beast is backed into a corner, it explodes in rage. And what happened in Poway and elsewhere, and in Christchurch, in all of these shootings, I'm not going to play the blame game. Okay, the media will play the blame game, and right now, just by mentioning the media, I'm blaming the media. So I've already blamed somebody, and I'll stop there. I only use the media. The media is very broad. That's everything. All the information you take in from all these different news sources, entertainment sources, in just the broader internet and the broader world of communication, newspaper and so forth, that's all media. So it's not like I'm pointing the finger at a specific institution or a smaller entity. But frankly, these situations were caused by mental health issues. There were obviously contributing factors in other places, but at the core, the action of picking up a gun and committing this kind of absolute atrocity is a result of poor mental health. And anything that spurs that on should be held in disregard, or held in contempt, I should say. But yeah, that's a big sidebar. So yeah, no, I think that being able to conflate things and create beautiful vistas in your head is a wonderful thing. But in real world cases, it's not so simple as casting heroes and villains, except for when you look at one of those killers that is acting. in this world. And I think that one way or another, that of course would be a villain. There are certain cases that are absolute and black and white with no gray area. I just hope that we can continue talking and continue the free speech rolling about all of these topics, even the uncomfortable ones, like the one I just talked about there, and keep the conversation going.